Hello everyone, Fanta here, you're watching FANTAVISION, and today I am discussing the eventual death of Google Stadia. That's right, Google has recently shut down both of its internal gaming studios, which means all of the games that were going to take complete advantage of the Google Stadia tech are now done. And one of the most interesting things about this shutdown is the fact that we're learning that games were close to release, and yet they shut it down anyway. I don't quite understand why they didn't just launch the games, see how they did, and then shut it down. I mean, even Amazon, who has lost like $500 million or more on developing games and has failed twice, they're still going. They're not giving up. And I know Google is known for giving up, and I'll get to that in a second, but I just don't understand why they wouldn't wait to see how these games did before shutting down the studios. They must have had absolutely no faith in the people that were working there, and it's sad to see about 150 developers either losing their job or just being moved somewhere else in the company. Whenever a company says, oh, we're going to try to find them positions, I don't really believe them. Especially, think about all the giant corporations that just kind of sweep all the employees out onto the street without a second thought. And Google's big enough to do the same sort of thing. So with the internal studios gone, how in the world is Stadia going to attract new customers? Because they're definitely not a really popular platform. It's not like they don't need something to attract people. They desperately need something and some sort of reason to use their platform. Well, apparently they're going to different game publishers and allowing them to just use the Stadia tech. And I think they're just banking on those companies to make exclusives for them or to just include more of these releases on their platform, as well as, Xbox, PlayStation, Nintendo, and the PC. But I'd argue that's not enough. They needed those internal gaming studios to make something that really took advantage of the platform, because they've been working with this tech since the beginning. They know what they're doing. And there was a game that was close to launch, and it sounded like there were a couple more in development, and I really wanted to see what this Stadia was actually capable of, because we haven't really seen that. We've seen some games running better than on the PC or the consoles and stuff like that. We've seen them take advantage of that increased power, but not to some sort of insane degree where we all rushed out and bought Google Stadia. It's always been the joke platform that only a specific number of people defend, and they treat it like a religion and get upset when anybody attacks it. But Google hasn't done anything for Stadia. They don't do that with any of their products, if you think about it. There is a website with like 260 different projects that Google has axed or is on the way to its deathbed. Google does not hold on to properties that are not popular or not making money. And Google Stadia is neither, which begs the question, why in the world would anybody invest in this platform if there's no future for it? How can we trust that Google's going to take care of all the people that are paying for it right now, that bought those controllers, that bought games on the platform? Because remember, this is not like Game Pass. You don't get a ton of games. You don't get hundreds of games just by paying that monthly fee. You get a free game drip feed like Xbox Live or PlayStation Network, and then you have to pay for individual titles. It is by far the worst deal in video games right now for that simple fact. If it was a subscription service like Game Pass or Netflix or something like that where you had a large selection of titles, it wouldn't be that big of a deal if it didn't really have that much of a future. Yeah, you're out the money on a controller, or I guess you could use your own controller and just play it through your PC and stream it through there, but I don't see why anybody would pay full price for a video game on the Google Stadia platform when we know that Google loves to kill its own projects. Even the people on the Google Stadia Reddit are not having a good day. They are, you think they might spin it to their own favor. You think they might be all trying to just, maybe it'll be okay. You try to look at the bright side, try to follow the propaganda that Google's putting out, but no, they're all not super happy about it. And if those people, the core audience, is not happy about this, you know that the end is near. And the thing is, I mention Game Pass because Game Pass is a huge competitor to this platform. I mean, Google Stadia, they can't compete with Xbox Game Pass because Game Pass, I don't know if you knew this, but they are in beta to let you play these games on the cloud. So even if you don't own an Xbox or a very powerful computer, you can still play these games everywhere, including mobile. And of course, this is still in beta, so it's not perfect, but if they perfect this, why would you get Stadia if you have to pay for the individual games and the monthly fee? That doesn't make any sense to me. Plus, Xbox Game Pass is going to have games that come exclusively to Xbox and Game Pass and will be included in it because they keep buying companies. Google isn't buying game companies, thank God. Please don't. I'm not trying to give you guys ideas. They're instead shutting down their own internal company that was going to provide exclusive games. So the draw to this system is just not there. I mean, Amazon is even working on their own device. Amazon Luna. Now, I don't really know anything about it. I don't even know if it's out yet. There's been zero fanfare that I've heard of, but that's another thing that's going to be competing with it. There's also a platform that I'll be trying out pretty soon called Shadow that is also like Stadia. It's a cloud platform that lets you play games. And unlike Stadia, it's a full desktop, so you can just buy games off Steam or Epic or Humble or whatever, and you can build that library. You own those games forever. And then if Shadow shuts down, you still have all of those accounts to all those other stores, and then you just get a computer or another streaming platform. And that's the problem with Stadia, is that the fact that it's all one ecosystem, so if it shuts down, you lose everything. So even though Google is going to tell everybody, hey, this is just a step in a different direction, I think it is a huge sign that they just don't believe in their own product anymore. It wasn't successful immediately. They tried. It failed. We're not going to put any more effort into it. Let's throw it at other publishers to give it a shot, even though they never even gave their own studios the chance to prove themselves. And seriously, when I said I didn't believe in this technology way back when, and still now, I just think it's not the time for it. I think there are some amazing things that can be done with cloud gaming. I mean, you can make games like Microsoft Flight Simulator possible, where it's this just astronomically huge game, and all of the rendering, all the physics, and all the graphics, and all these different things are computed by something else so you can enjoy it, and you don't have to plunk down a huge sum of money for a console or a PC. And that's great. I want there to be an affordable option for people to play video games. But Google Stadia was never it, because it wasn't that affordable, considering the fact that you had to pay full price for these games that you literally don't own. And because internet infrastructure is still not there when you're living in a place like where I am, where you have one internet provider choice, and they're terrible. You know, if you're stuck with Comcast or Cox or any of these different companies, you're screwed. And if you don't have unlimited data, you're screwed. But I really did want to see what these were capable of. I would have loved to see some like insanely detailed, huge game that was only possible in a cloud-based environment, but we're not going to because Google just shut it down. I'm not a hater of the idea of the platform. I just don't think the surrounding infrastructure, at least here, is ready for it yet. Yes, there are places in America that have unlimited, amazing internet, but the vast majority of the country, and a lot of different countries, we're all under the thumb of greedy ISPs. And unfortunately, Google Fiber just didn't become a huge thing like we all had hoped. All these different ISPs legally held them back in different ways and slowed them down. And if I remember correctly, Google just stopped with Google Fiber, just like everything else they do. And that's why there's a whole website that's dedicated to the Google graveyard that has all the different Google projects that are about to die and all the ones that have already. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below, if you think Google Stadia is going to hang on and survive, or if you think it's dead already and there's just no hope. I want to know your take on it. Of course, like the video if you guys liked it, subscribe for more content, and as always, have a fantastic day. See you, everybody.